So, with all the fanfare with Mario taking over this program and mostly optimistic and complimentary talk here, but with a discerning eye to what was accomplished, but also what were the shortcomings at Oregon in particular, I'll give you this. That I believe if we went through most of the top coaches in the country, both that are active and thinking of one in particular that recent, but others recent coaches. Even without, you need players to win, of course, but even without the players that they eventually bring in, most really good coaches, as soon as they step on campus, work through an off season, even with the players that they inherit, usually the really good ones just make that team better.
Yep.
Just by sheer
gravity, presence, whatever.
Yes, gravity, presence, inspiration, tightening up processes, kicking their staff's rear ends to say, make these guys better. I know that this guy doesn't run as fast as the guy we're going to recruit next year, but we're going to squeeze them dry.
Right, but what can he do now? What can this guy do? He's not your 5-tool player in baseball. Run, hit for power, field throw. He's not all 5, right? But he can do 3 of those things. And I got another guy in the room who can do 3 things with only 1 item of overlap. So if I need 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to Dre. If I need 2, 4, and 5, I'm going to, Deshaun. Look, we got players. We have plenty of talent. Now, I know we don't have championship depth. I know that we're bringing people on. But against Middle Tennessee State, you're telling me that is the precipitating reason for losing by what should have been 4 scores? Really? 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 I mean, that's just, I don't know, man. And it's clear to me that there are some square pegs and round holes kind of action going on where we're going to do this and we run this and then we're going to just run this because we're going to run this and we want to run this. But if you don't have the players to run this, like, again, the main case in point for me is Tyler Van Dyke, the reigning offensive rookie of the year in the ACC. He came into the year with, 6 games against FBS competition in a row, 300 plus yards, multiple plus touchdowns. Boom. Okay. He can chuck it. Everybody's talking about, first round draft pick, maybe second round, but you're talking top 45, he's 6'4", he can throw the ball a country mile. He's not super athletic, but he can move enough. We've seen him be successful, be one of the best performing quarterbacks in America with the size and talent and pedigree to continue that success, both at this level and the next. He looks like, I don't even want to call him just a guy because that would be disrespectful to league average quarterbacks. 58% completions, a 4.3 touchdown interception ratio. You're getting balls batted down left, right, and center. I mean, I know that he's 6'4" and you got these pads on, but he's throwing out here sidearm all the time and everything. Like, so he like that defensive lineman who caught that interception return for a touchdown last week, 6'1". Why are you throwing it? I mean, I'm not saying that you had to go directly over the top and, whatever, but like, if he's coming on a rush move, why are you throwing it down by where his helmet is on a dip, on a rush move? Like, why are you, it's like, oh, well, he doesn't have any pocket presence. Go back and look at some of those pockets, man. You got Ja'Kai Clark pushed back into his lap. Justice Oluwaseun, number 70. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. There has to be somebody with a Miami uniform who can play better than you. Has to be. And it cannot be because Zion Nelson was out to rest his knee, who would play tackle. Now, in my perfect world, I would put Zion Nelson at tackle, kick DJ Scaife inside, and kick Justin Oluwaseun, I don't know, selling insurance, enterprise car rental, going pro in something other than sport. But I can't watch him get beat at the point of attack over and over and over in the pass game and the run game, right? But even with that, Tyler Van Dyke is the shell of the player that we saw last year. And for what? And we know, and that has to have been a main reason why, okay, everybody wants to come and work with this guy. So why are we not going to scheme to what he does well? I wrote the plays in that piece. We talked about it. I know we finally ran a smash route, finally. And what happens? Bang, high-low read, got it. because that's what he does the best out of anything. But we finally ran one discernible smash route read in game 4 and still got blown out. Like, it's just that square pegs, round holes. We want to run this at the expense of what the player does. And I'm sorry, man, that doesn't work. Whether you're coaching, whether you're teaching, there were years where I was like, hey, I want to do vocally, I want to do this when I talk choir. I want to, but I didn't have the horses for that. So, okay, we got to still give, we're going to line up appropriate alignment assignment technique, right? So we're going to line up appropriately. We're going to run our routes. We're going to do these things, but I don't have a Calvin Johnson. So I can't run the plays I would run to Calvin Johnson with a YOLO component or a him ball at the end because I don't have any Calvin Johnsons, right? But at some point you have to look at the process and the failed performance and then update that process because the process is not giving you the proper performance. This is the exact fucking thing that I talked about with Al Golden. When we always sat up here and said, the process. The performance, the result is telling you that the process is flawed. And we're not doing anything about it, and it's going backwards. This is what's frustrating. I swear on everything. I'm going to go back into editorial, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste pieces that I've written over the last 11 years in situations such as these. Or I could either repost them or I'm just going to take all of the links and I'm going to put them all back up on the front page because I've already said this shit because I've already seen it. And we're coming here and we're going to do it again. For who and for what? This is not what we paid all this money for Mario Cristobal to give. Like we did not. This is not the performance that we paid for. This is not what we paid for. It is not. And I know, still friends with Bud Elliott. I tweeted out something, Miami's lack of explosive plays, or somebody else was, going up top all the time. It's like, oh, I wish. And, he responded back to me. He's like, you know what you signed up for. What I signed up for and this are two different things even, right? I'm not saying that you got to be Mike Leach offense, right? I'm not saying you got to be that. But overall, right, Mario Cristobal won the Pac-12 North the last 3 years running. He won 2 Rose Bowls ahead or behind those, and then he got the Pac-12 championship game. Okay, they got punched in the mouth last year because it was a mismatch against Oklahoma or Utah. And sometimes that happens where a rival has your number. I'm paying for, or what we paid for, is a multiple-time conference championship team, right? A team that could and should go to the playoff and went to a major New Year's Six game multiple years in a row. That's what I paid for. That's what I signed up for. This shit right here, we could have still had Manny Diaz or anybody else. This is, look, and I know that it's early. People, you guys should calm down and it'll be all right. If you're okay and not angered by what you've seen as a Miami fan and not questioning the direction at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Because there has to be proof positive of what we're doing. And trying to run the ball or being decent running the ball against the Little Sisters of the Poor. And, having to eke out that second game against Southern Miss. Like, okay, we finally had to get going. And, okay, those things, that's not going to be good enough. And that is not going to give us division championship, conference championship going towards a New Year's Six bowl game and or the college football playoff. That's what Mario Cristobal delivered at Oregon come hell or high water, right? And so that's what I signed up for. That's what I am demanding because like I wrote in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, if the coaching staff wants to have standards and we're going to uphold the standards, I'm upholding them to achieving the standard as well.